Hey, what is up? Waizowl OGM Cloud. This is the Sinsei clone that's been talked about a lot. This is priced at $99. This mouse is capable of 4K polling, but of course you need to fork out another $15 for that privilege of a dongle. I don't have a dongle with me, so I'm only running this on 1K. Is this mouse for big hands? That's what everyone says. The answer is no, and I will explain why. 10 hours of usage plus a day. My hand size 21 by 12. Temperatures 93 and above. Outside temperatures, outside humidity is 80+%. Inside here is 42% at the moment. I've got sweaty fingertips and a clammy hand, but I've got a soft, relaxed grip on my mouse. Battery life and hygiene check, no idea the battery size because it is not published on their website, but I read somewhere it's a 300 milliamp battery. So this gave me 7 days of 1K polling, no problem. I don't know about 4K, but I'm gonna assume it's something like 3 or 4 days. Now, if you notice, this is dirty as fuck. I would pick a white one if I was going to buy an OGM Cloud, because the red one is a smudge magnet. Now I've already cleaned this, as you can see, because this is actually my second attempt at recording this video, and I tried to clean it on camera. I actually just cleaned it, and already it is picking up smudges and oily. It was filthy. I did not clean it for 3 weeks, and when I cleaned it the first time, I was so happy to do it. And this is not 5 minutes ago, and you can see it's already picking up smudges and oil from my hands. It's just really disgusting. If you're in the habit of cleaning your mouse all the time, then this is not going to be a problem. But you know, if you're going to clean your mouse every 3 days, you're going to have to deal with this almost instantly after every session. You're gonna have to deal with looking at your mouse looking like filthy and disgusting. Now let's go ahead and talk about the shape and size of this mouse. Now I've never owned a Sinsei, but I hear this is a close clone. It looks phenomenal, to be honest with you. I would rate it 10 out of 10. The pointed nose looks like a British Airways Concorde with the nose pointing down. It looks really sexy, if I'm being honest. I would describe this as an L-size mouse. I think of like the original Death Adder, but the triggers are lower. You know, it's got a V-shaped body, so the top of the mouse actually is wider than the bottom of the mouse. The grip width is around 58 millimeters where the sensor is. Your grip width 58. The Death Adder is 62 for context. This is 58, so it feels slimmer than a Death Adder. The triggers are 20 millimeters height, over 20 millimeters height. And if you compare that to a Death Adder, even the lowest trigger, which is the mouse 2, is 22 millimeters. So this is significantly lower. 20 millimeters is, you imagine the OP1WE, that's 18 millimeters. So this is just slightly higher than the OP1WE triggers, relatively low. Unlike the original Death Adder with a 42 millimeter hump at the tallest point of the mouse, this one, I think it's only 38 millimeters at the highest point, which is almost exactly like a G Pro Superlight or one of those Dragonflies R1. So it's about the same height. You don't feel like it's got a high hump like a Death Adder. So it feels like almost all kinds of hands will fit into this mouse comfortably. What the difference is the hips. The widest part of the mouse is 68 millimeters here at the butt, while Death Adder is 69 millimeters. So just as wide as a Death Adder at the butt. compare that with a R1 VXE, for example, is only 64. So this is 4 millimeters wider than a VXE. But here's the difference between the OGM Cloud and the Death Adder. Although it is, around the same width at the butt, the OGM Cloud feels actually wider because of that rounded hips or rump or butt cheeks, you could say. Much wider. You feel it pushing into the sides of your palm here, for me anyway. While the Death Adder does not do that, because the Death Adder is more pointed. So you definitely feel it at the back of your palms, on the side of your palms, both side of your palms, right there, compared to the Death Adder. So even though it's about the same width as the Death Adder, it is definitely feeling wider because of that. That is what I'm trying to convey to you. If you have large hands and you want to pick a large mouse, I would definitely prefer something like an Ergo, like a Death Adder. I would definitely pick this. This fits more comfortably as a large mouse. I would not pick this, even though I have large hands. I would not pick this for comfort over the Ergo. I would prefer the old Death Adder shape, is what I'm trying to say. It feels less awkward, in making contact in the right places, while the OGM Cloud is making contact in the wrong places for me. I mean, it's still pretty good feeling, but if I had to choose, I would rather go for the Death Adder kind of Ergo shape. But let me continue with the build quality. If I'm being honest with you, this feels like a mature AAA brand. I have zero issues on the gaps. They are tight. It is a well-built product. The color is good. The finishing is good. I have nothing negative to say about the build quality. They even printed their box. Look at the box. This unbox experience is almost identical to the VXE R1 Pro Max. Same kind of box design, same kind of presentation, except this is a printed box with white color. And then the OGM Cloud is like a sticker, almost like a sticker on top of the on top of the box. Makes it feel a lot more premium and expensive. So that experience is really good. I don't really have anything negative to say about this. Maybe I could complain about the printing at the back is not as sharp as it could be. They could do a better job about that, maybe. But that's being a little bit harsh. I do have a M1 and M2 button that makes a little bit of a grindy side-to-side play here. You can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's kind of, sometimes you can encounter a grindy noise and feeling if you are not actuating it perfectly here. If you push it by the side, if you can feel that side to side there is a little bit of bump to it. It's not a big deal, because if you use it normally and you press it up and down, you don't feel really anything. The coating itself, it's a dry, grippy, rubberized coating feeling like most AAA mice. I would pick the white color just to avoid the smudges. Again, I mentioned this earlier. This thing is absolutely disgusting, even though I've just cleaned it like 5 minutes ago. A white one would make the smudges look not so obvious than the red copy that I got. But if you wipe your mouse down every day, every 2 days, it wouldn't be so bad. But if you have greasy, sweaty fingers, if you're a sweaty gamer like me, this could be, this could bother you a little bit, because you have to deal with looking at this all the time. Now, as for the buttons, M1 and M2 is exquisite. It is superb. It is one of the best click feelings for a mechanical mouse that I have. These are Huano transparent blue shell pink dots. Now I have regular blue shell pink dots on the Lethal Gaming gear. They're really, really nice. and also on the Dragonfly M916. These are Huano blue shell pink dots. If you don't know them, you should, because they are really nice to click, really nice feeling. So are these. If you want regular mechanical switches, blue shell pink dots are absolutely the way to go. They are amazing. But the transparent ones, I don't know if it's just the transparent ones. I'm not sure if they're the same as regular blue shell pink dots, but these are even better. And I think these are my first ever transparent blue shell pink dots, if I'm not too sure. But oh my god, they feel so nice to click on. They are absolutely amazing. Now, of course, the OGM Cloud costs, you know, twice as much as the Red Dragon. But I can tell you right away, it's not 2 times as great as the blue shell pink dot on the Red Dragon. I don't know if the mic can pick this up properly, but it just sounds absolutely amazing. Really crispy, really nice. But there is a problem with the side buttons. I don't know if you can hear this, but forward button sounds really hollow and bad. Back button feels really crispy and tactile. So a little bit of discrepancy here between the forward and reverse button. I'm sure you can hear that. But it feels fine, it clicks fine, it works fine. It's just that it sounds different. The forward button sounds different to the reverse button. I also like the side buttons, the way they sculptured the buttons itself. The edges are almost flush to the body. You know, very ergonomic side buttons. These are like one of the best side buttons, the way they made the buttons itself. I'm not talking about the actuation or the switches, I'm talking about the buttons itself. It reminds me of the Endgame Gear type of sculptured buttons, but this one is even better because the edges here, they are almost flush with the body. Very, very good, very well made. The buttons feel like they're almost not there. So I got no complaints about how they made the button. Really nice feeling, really good implementation. Only the clicking a little bit hollow on the forward button and a little bit nicer on the rear button. The scroll wheel itself, really nice feeling. I wish it was a little bit more spammable. For me, I feel like it could be a bit too hard, too stiff, but overall, grand scheme of things, it's pretty good. Just that it feels a bit harder and tougher in my opinion. The feet itself, very high quality PTFE like core pads. These have the corner skates on them. There is another set of full skates in the box. But these came installed with the corner type skates. They are very good. I have no reason to replace them or change them out, so I'm going to leave them as they are. They feel really good and comparable to you know, the stock skates of a Lamzu mice. I wouldn't swap them out for anything else. You can see in the spin test, they're really, really good. The performance, I have to say, I had a problem with the driver when I first got it. When I installed it, I tried to install the driver on the first day. I double clicked it, it would not install. So for 2 days, I did not have the Waizowl driver. And then on the 3rd day, I just messed around with it, and then I managed to finally install it. For some reason, it started working from the 3rd day onwards, is what I'm trying to say. Here you go. This is the software. You can see it's connected. It's a pretty straightforward kind of user interface. There's nothing really special about it, just your normal stuff. If you have the 4K, you would have the 4K option here. but obviously we don't have 4K on this copy. Everything else is pretty standard. You've got your lift off distance, motion sync on and off, all kinds of settings here that you can do just like any other wireless mouse. Nothing too spectacular about it. Also, the other issue that I had with the mouse was the Bluetooth. I cannot connect the Bluetooth to any of my devices. So this is the first time I've encountered any kind of problem with Bluetooth mouse. Even my R1 SE, the cheapest mouse that I have, and it has Bluetooth, and this works fine. But the one on the Waizowl does not connect to anything for some reason. I've tried to click the connect, but it just would not connect for the life of me. So that's the only issue that I have, is the software sucked for first 2 days because I couldn't install it for some reason, and then on the third day for some reason it installed and it works fine right now. The Bluetooth still cannot connect to anything, and that is not very good. Yeah, that's all I have to say about the performance. Other than that, everything works pretty fine. Value for money is the last thing I wanted to talk about the mouse. In my opinion, I think value for money is kind of poor, because number one, the shape is kind of like a specialty shape, and it's not like a universally accepted shape. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a fantastic mouse. The problem is it isn't a $115 fantastic mouse. Now, it could be a fantastic $60 to $70 mouse, but that's not where we are, and the last thing of all, of course, it's the warranty. On the website, it says it is limited to 15 days, and then there's some literature there that vaguely says it covers 3 months with some absurd conditions. So that is my biggest gripe with it. There is no clear warranty period for the mouse, except for the first 15 days where you can return it and get a refund or get a replacement or something like that. After that, there's like no guarantee. There is some literature that says something like 3 months they could repair it for you or something like that, but it's very vague, and then there's all kinds of conditions attached to it. So that raises a lot of red flags. I don't think that's a good way to do business, especially if you want to deal with the Western world, where you're used to dealing with RMAs and stuff like that. You have to stand behind your product. That's what I'm trying to say. You have to back your product. If there's something wrong with it, if your customers are not satisfied, you need to be able to stand behind your product and say you replace them or you refund them. But yeah, that is my Waizowl OGM Cloud. I wanted to mention my my Kovacs scores, but I only did 5 days, and if I'm being honest, of that 5 days I did not break any personal bests. In fact, it was performing kind of below my expectation, especially now that I'm on my favorite. I was testing it on my favorite pad for the last 5 days, and I found that the performance was just average. It was not better than my best scores, and I feel like this is an indication of the mouse just being an average performing, a normal performing. I'm not going to say it's bad performing, because it is not bad performing. It is a normal performing mouse. I was hoping that it would do better because it had a unique shape, fits my hand better because I have a huge hand. But in actual fact, if I'm being honest, if I wanted comfort, the Death Adder would have given me a better, more comfortable feeling for a big mouse compared to an OGM, a Waizowl OGM Cloud. So anyway, that is my assessment of the OGM Cloud. I hope I didn't confuse you guys too much with too much details. I'm waffling on about the OGM Cloud. I hope you got some useful information, and I'll see you on the next video, I guess. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.